What's good, y'all? It's your boy Brian Time Reacts. Today we watching three scary, true, crazy X horror stories. This is by Mr. Nightmare. I watched a couple of his stuff, his stories. He got some good ass stories. He's a very good storyteller. I think most of these are actually true. I believe some of his subscribers actually. I don't know if they're all true, but most likely I think they are because he got subscribers to tell him like their story and experience they had before. But subscribe to him. He got some really good stuff. He been in the YouTube game for a minute. I actually watched him a couple years ago in the past. So down below you will also have my link in the description. You will have my socials, also the original video. Let's get into the video. Also comment, like, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get to the video. Let's go. Also, y'all, this will not be 16, 17 minutes. It will be shorter because I will have to cut it out. So we'll have to be doing two stories. So, sorry, y'all.
This video is sponsored by Babbel. Babbel with Spanish with students on with science and interested in my current girlfriend. For 3, I've had 3 girlfriends in my life. My current girlfriend, who I've been with for 3 years happily, my first girlfriend in college, and my second girlfriend, Kelly. Kelly was someone...
Must be lucky because I never dated anybody. I gotta give y'all a story time why I never dated anybody. I've always been single. I've talked to people in the past, but never went well, went left. But
who put me through hell emotionally and sometimes physically. I'll start from the beginning. Kelly and I matched on Bumble, and upon seeing that we both attended the same college, we based our conversation off that and any people that we may have mutually known. After seeing each other for about a month, we made it official, and we dated for about 6 months. Like most relationships, at first everything seemed great, and we got along fine. But the illusion of being a happy couple faded after a few months, when Kelly would start becoming very controlling and downright obsessive over knowing what I was doing at all times. The longer we dated, the more I realized she didn't have many friends at all, maybe 1 or 2, that's about it. So when I would go out to see my friends on the weekends without her, she would always...
Like they say, the crazy bitches always get like this coochie. I made that out. I'm sorry.
Obsessively text me every 15 minutes asking me for proof of where I was. If I were ever to be at a bar without her, she'd throw a fit. She'd make me share my location with her after 4 or 5 months of dating. It got to the point I couldn't handle it anymore.
And that's the other thing. I don't give a fuck. I keep pausing. That's the one. That's the major thing. That's why I don't date for real, bro. Because someone controlling my life and I got something going for myself. I can't. That's like being in prison, bro. That's why I prefer being single sometimes because it's like you're free, you're having fun, but it's like you can't really enjoy nothing for real unless you just enjoy it with your girl. But other than that, you can't do nothing else. You can't even hang with your boys.
She had too much time on her hands to worry about what I was doing constantly. I couldn't even go see my friends without constantly being attacked and interrogated by her. But one night, things escalated far worse than they ever had. Admittedly, I ended up at a bar and very drunk with a group of my drinking buddies. We started at my friend Kevin's house, and I didn't intend on ending up at a bar. When I got home, Kelly was waiting in front of my mom's house for me, with a batshit crazy look on her face. This was one of the first nights that she laid hands on me, repeatedly hitting me while screaming I'm a dirty cheater and other insane things, all while outside causing a scene for the neighbors to hear. After I had to grab her arms to get her to stop, she shouted things like "get off me, I'm calling the police." So I let go and told her we're done. This was officially when I broke up with her, and her response was not good. Every single day, I received paragraphs upon paragraphs, ranging from angry to alleged regretfulness back to angry. Eventually, I felt more comfortable blocking Kelly for a while, but that wasn't the end.
She got I feel like this, people like this got mental illness, bro, and she probably never really dated anybody. She always probably been fucked over in the past multiple times. And it comes to the point that it makes her crazy, bro, that people leave her. Like on some, I don't know, some crazy serial killer shit. Like, you just gotta be careful, y'all.
One of my friends who followed her on Instagram still sent me a screenshot of the picture she posted with this big, ugly, muscular guy who looked like he wanted to kill the person taking the picture. I made a joke to my friend saying, "Wow, I see she upgraded." Kelly did the unimaginable, though. I was all cozy in my bed, in the perceived safety of the house. I was home alone, as I usually was living in my parents' house. That was when I heard a pounding at the front door downstairs. I jumped out of bed and went out to the living room to listen. There was a man's screams from the other side. He was screaming, "Open up, pussy." I didn't acknowledge him. I didn't want him to know I was home. Then some random number was calling my phone. When I didn't pick up, I got a text from someone.
Damn. She said somebody to kill him, bro. Deadass. She said somebody to kill this nigga. And you know what's crazy about this shit, bro? This shit happens many times in stories, bro. Crazy exes, bro. Especially females, bro. Nigga breaking up by their boyfriend, bro. They'll fuck around, either have a nigga, bro, or have a brother or some nigga they know go after your ass, bro. This shit crazy, bro.
Threatening to kill me and telling me to open the door before he breaks the window. I ignored these and called 911.
Get a gun!
I heard glass breaking from outside. I looked out my window, and I saw a familiar, huge, bearded guy right by my SUV. He was smashing my windows. I recognized the guy to be from Kelly's picture. As I was on the phone with 911, I explained that my crazy ex-girlfriend sent her current boyfriend to my house to threaten me, and he was currently damaging my vehicle. I answered a bunch of questions as police were en route. All the while, the man kept screaming things from outside and pounding on my door and sending threatening texts. Police showed up surprisingly quickly to my relief, and they
do my shit again and shoot this bitch up, nigga. That's what I've been like, nigga. I had nigga. Fuck.
Caught the guy still in front of my house. They saw him step off the front stoop after he saw the cop car pulling up. I went outside right away and showed the police my car and the texts. And the big, roid-raging man was still yelling at me that I'm gonna fucking pay for talking shit about him to Kelly. I told him I hadn't spoken to Kelly in months, and he said, "Oh yeah, what about the texts?" as he was in handcuffs already. I said, "What texts?" and he accused me of being a bullshitter. So after he was brought away in one of 2 police cars, I gave the second police officer whatever information he needed of the situation between Kelly and I, and he told me I had a good case for harassment and should definitely file for a restraining order immediately. He told me to head to the precinct the next day, which is what I did, but I also unblocked Kelly and asked her what she said to her boyfriend and why. And
why the fuck would you unblock her, bro? Why would you unblock her, nigga? Leave that bitch!
After she responded claiming she had no idea what I was talking about, I sent her a long text giving her a piece of my mind, basically telling her about my getting a restraining order and telling her to seek help. I never heard from her again, nor her crazy, void-raging, now ex-boyfriend. According to my friend, she deleted the picture with him literally the next day after that happened. I currently have a restraining order against both her and her ex-boyfriend, Javier Cruz. Be careful who you decide to date. There's a whole lot of crazy out there.
On me. Why the hell you texting her?
Opera GX is my preferred browser. I used to use Chrome and then I...
Crazy people out there, bro. Be careful, y'all.
I dated my ex Kian for 2 years. It was a toxic, abusive relationship. I endured a lot of physical suffering from it, but I was always too scared to leave it. I lived with my single mom on a rougher side of town, the place where I spent my entire childhood. Being a girl walking home alone at night here can be sketchy, which was part of the reason why I stayed with Kian for so long. He is a big guy, and I felt a sense of protection with him, when he wasn't making me feel like shit. A big reason I stayed with him, though, towards the end was because I was scared of how he'd take it if I broke up with him. My mother always hated him, though, and she knew he was no...
That's kind of the toughest part, especially being a female, bro. I understand, like I've never abused or hit anybody, never hit a woman, but, like, I get it, like, from that point of view, because some people don't understand, like, just leave them. It ain't that simple, because the nigga could be crazy, for real. If he already abusing her, what else he gonna do if you break up with him? You never know that.
Good for me. Unfortunately, it took me as long as it did to cut ties with him. I did it over text one day, though, because I knew if I did it in person, he'd hit me or go crazy. He still didn't take it well. Seconds after I texted him, he tried calling me over and over. I wouldn't pick up because I was scared. So after the 3rd or 4th attempted call, he started typing for a few minutes. And the text I got from him was a long paragraph cursing me out, a lot of it in all caps. I texted him back that we could talk about it on the phone tomorrow when he's cooled off. He, of course, sent another paragraph, and I didn't read this one right away because I was about to cry, and I didn't want to deal with it at that moment. My mom was working her second job that night and wouldn't be home till around 2 in the morning. I had class the next day, so I went to bed early around 10, but falling asleep was difficult with my mind racing. Eventually, though, I did fall asleep. I woke up in the middle of the night to a sound from the outside of my room. I looked at the clock, and it was around 1 a.m. It wasn't uncommon for me to wake up to my mom getting home late at night after work.
And you know what's crazy, bro? God gave you a sign to know that someone is at your crib. No cap. Just saying.
I was just surprised because she was home rather early this night. I sat up and saw something sitting on the edge of my bed. I realized it was my cat Nala. I got out of bed and went out into the hall and called my mom's name. All the lights were out. I knew for certain I heard something from out in the...
Oh, no.
living room. I turned on the living room lights, but no one was here. I went to the front door to make sure it was locked, and it was. I checked through the window to the driveway, and my mom's car wasn't here, so I figured maybe I was just hearing things. I went back to my room and shut the door, then crawled back into bed. Nala was still in the same spot on my bed. She hadn't moved. I tried to go back to sleep, and I suddenly heard another sound. I ran out to the living room again, and my mom wasn't here still. I suddenly realized Kian knew where we kept the spare key in the backyard. What if he had just let himself in? I went back to my room and called my mom on my cell phone and told her. I had already texted her earlier about my breakup, so she already knew and was proud of me. She said she'd be home in a little bit, and that I could just be hearing house noises. I laid back down in my bed. Nala was still in the same position. I turned on the lamp and went to go pick her up. But I gasped when I saw her eyes lifelessly open and she wasn't breathing. I picked her up and confirmed it. My cat was dead.
What the fuck?
I wanted to cry, but I covered my mouth. I suddenly knew that Kian was in the house and that he did this to punish me. I locked my bedroom door and called 911 and whispered into the phone that my crazy ex-boyfriend broke into my house and killed my cat. I was told to wait in the closet in my bedroom until I heard the police arrive. I stayed on the phone with 911 in the closet, waiting. At any time during this, the front door to the house could have opened and closed, and I wouldn't have been able to hear it. Eventually, the 911 operator told me the police were there. Apparently, the door was unlocked because they let themselves in. That meant Kian had probably just left. I went to the living room to find two police officers. I was bawling my eyes out over Nala now. The first thing they asked was, "Where is he?" And I said, "I think he left." I showed them my cat and the text from Kian. My mom came home shortly after I called her, and she cried over Nala too. The police were not very helpful at all, saying without any actual evidence that someone broke into the house, they couldn't just go and arrest someone. Nala had no stab marks or anything, so as messed up as it sounds, we couldn't even prove that she was likely murdered by Kian as revenge to me. The next day, my mom had the locks to the house changed. The spare key in the backyard was still there, but Kian easily could have put it back. I blocked Kian's number and all social media outlets. All the evidence pointed to him having done it. My mother and I went through the process of getting an order of protection against him, and the judge issued us a temporary one before our court date. The last time I ever saw Kian was in court, where thankfully the judge determined that the order of protection would remain in place. I still often think about how the first time I went downstairs, Kian was probably somewhere in the living room, hiding and watching me.
That is some crazy ass shit. Sorry, I couldn't do the second one, but I will do another video on Mr. Nightmare because these are really good stories. It wasn't really that scary, but I mean, I feel like an experience it would be. But anyway, hope y'all enjoyed that video. Like I said again, link in the description down below. I will have the original video and my social medias on my socials. We're gonna enjoy the video. It's about 2-time reacts. It was really good. We out of here. Like I said, we out of here. Deuces.